Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terror Boys over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How I want to answer the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch. Is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Board with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
What is going on out there, everyone? It is July 10th, 2023. We are here to talk about some PA Speedweek. That just, whatever it was, there was a lot of rain. Probably more than speed, but we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the upcoming Eldora Million and Kings Royal, and we're going to talk about some other things as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here, Jimmy, who joined here with Jay-Z and Chris, and it's a nice Monday. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Oh, good. I just had to look at an Instagram real quick. I was checking out some Instagram profile there.
Anything interesting?
Anything
Nope.
yet?
Not a damn thing.
That's
Nothing.
cool. Good.
So we're on a little bit later tonight. We got some other things going on. We actually have our own PA Posse iRacing Speed Week, so that kind of has been taking up some time, and got some other things going on. It's gonna be a little touch and go here the next couple of weeks, I think, but we're trying to get back on track. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. Make sure you drop all your comments in the chat and everything, and we want to hear what you guys think. Not just our dumb opinions. So.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
I know you're going to come off with a bunch of dumb ones.
Never know.
All right, let's jump right into PA Speed Week. 4 rainouts, right? 4?
Sounds right.
We only got 6 races in. It was tough Speed Week. We haven't had that many rainouts, I don't think, in a while. And it was pretty much dominated by 2 drivers, the 2 drivers that we expected. Anthony Macri, who ended up taking it down, and Brett Marks. They were the only 2 guys to win any of the races. Macri won 4 of them, and Brett won 2, I believe. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the races that Macri won, he won them in convincing fashion. I mean, he was like half a track ahead at points. It was just
the first Lincoln race, convincing him, Gary, and Brett.
The BAP show, First Lincoln race? No, I guess not. The first Lincoln race was really good.
That was a banger.
Yeah. But the BAPS race, the Port race, what was the other one? The other second Lincoln race, right? He was pretty much gone.
Yes.
So, but yeah, let's talk about that. I guess the first one was the first Lincoln show. That got kicked off the right way. There's a big battle between Macri, Brent, Peck,
Danny.
and Danny.
No, Danny. Peck was starting to get into that fray a little bit. Like he was getting there, but he ran out of laps to get to those top three. But those top three throwing sliders in and out of lap traffic, and lap traffic, you can. I think Danny was frustrated with lap traffic a little bit, but that's not uncommon to hear that from him. But it made it interesting. It made it a dynamic where they were throwing sliders on each other and trying to find ways around not just each other, but the lap traffic. So it was, for me, it was one of the races of the year that I watched. No matter the outcome, it was fantastic racing and watching them trying to play the chess match and figure out where the hell to go. So it was super entertaining. And honestly, that whole thing ended up so good. And I had big concerns at the beginning of that night. It was blowing dust and hot laps. The tiniest little rain shower came through, and that track was fantastic the rest of the night. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. From dust, and they picked up a second after the rain shower. And I'm telling you, the rain shower wasn't enough that I had to go get cover. I stood there and I was barely wet. Just that little bit made it that much different. It was amazing.
Yeah, the weather was definitely something to dodge almost every night. I forgot about that. I forgot about that rain shower. It was every night there was a chance of showers, and most of the night, almost all the nights, half the nights, the weather won. But yeah, it was.
It was bad luck. I mean, there's never one day of any kind of rain like all day. I don't think it was just thunderstorms, really bad times.
Thunderstorms, man. What are you gonna do?
Or during the afternoon, or during heat the motors, hot laps, whatever it was. They Port tried Sealands Grove, Williams Grove. We'll probably get into that, but they got the same thing, but they pushed everything back, moving the pits, redecorated the whole living room, everything. What is Jeremy doing?
Yeah. So
I'm just changing cameras. I didn't like that. I'll get it right for next week. I got this set up in all of like 36 seconds. So,
shout out to some people that are watching. Travis, Chalk Guy, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. We got Steel City Demon, Smeal. What's going on? Of course, Dakota Coon's fired up in the chat. We got a lot of people fired up after that posse race. We got Alex Robinson, Bridgeport announcer. What's going on? Tuning in. And George Wood, the legend. He's definitely fired up. So, cool. And John Winku. Thanks for tuning in.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you all coming. I know we've been away a little bit, and we didn't really have much of a plan for tonight, just because we have our iRacing Pennsylvania Posse going on virtual iRacing Pennsylvania Posse Speedweek. So we just been busy, but we had to get on here. We had to sit down. There's been so much racing going on, regardless of the weather. There's been a lot happening, a lot of news. So we just want to chat with you guys. So chime in. What do you guys want to talk about? What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? We have plenty. We are not short on that, but we'd rather have yours. So topic comes up and you're fired up about it. Let's chat about it.
Christopher Noel, nice to see you, buddy.
Chris, what's going on, buddy? Hey, I got a cool shot of your boy Chad Trout in the pits over the weekend. Check out probably my Facebook page. Cool little pit shot at night. Cool little lighting on that thing. Check it out, man. Good to see you,
dude. Any other thoughts from Lincoln on that first night?
No, it was just awesome.
It was just a good race.
Just very, very good race. I think that, all the comments from the top three is the top three. They all wanted to win the race, but they were all like, glad that went well. Nobody wanted to finish second or third, but at the same time, they were all very respectful and complimentary of each other. I'll say that, what was that? What night was Lincoln? That was Saturday night? And then where did they get Sunday?
Yeah, because Williams Grove got rained out that Friday.
Yeah, so Saturday Lincoln opener.
And then oh yeah. Well,
Sunday
so
was
Yeah, the victory lane comments were pretty interesting. Brent really kind of got into like like him and Anthony's rivalry, right? And listen, there is one. They're up front running. There's shit's gonna happen. He was very diplomatic in his answers and his in that victory lane interview. But I guarantee you, he doesn't want to ever lose to Anthony Macri. So
Right.
it was cool. It was a great race. I think they all were respectful of each other. They all had chances to not be, and they were, and it was fun. It was a great race. So that's what we paid our money for.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
they picked that. You're referring to Hagerstown, Jeremy, where they had another battle.
Yes.
And Marks came out on
That's
top.
right.
There's another real touch and go there down the stretch, and he kind of took it from Macri there. It's
And
pretty
said
fun to
much
keep
of the
that going.
same.
Right.
And his comments were much of the same that night. And yeah, that's all I got. Yeah. So it was fun. It was a great way to kick off Speed Week, honestly. It was a great way to kick it off.
Sunday night was BAPS. I actually traveled out for that one, and with you, Jay-Z, showed me some different spots there at BAPS I never got to see before, so that was pretty cool. I'm actually pretty excited for their Outlaw show. I think they really got some things going on there that it's gonna put on a good show. It's always a pretty good surface. The racing was pretty decent. It's not the best BAPS show, but it was good. It was good. Brett had some bad luck, which probably would have, if that didn't happen, probably would have kept him more step for step with Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it takes, and this is one bad race. And you look at last year's Speed Week, Anthony had some mechanical problem or a tire at port maybe, and he started that Speed Week last year leading that, and Brent took over and won, and kind of ran away with that a little bit. And it was the same thing this year with Anthony. The roles were reversed a little bit. Anthony didn't have a slip up all week. A few rainouts, you never know what could happen with all the races getting in. But listen, it was still his to show up every night, time trial well, and run up front. So he did what he had to do, and BAPS was just another example of that. Like we've seen Anthony do well at BAPS, but we've seen Danny dominate at BAPS. We've seen Brent win at BAPS. We've seen Freddie do it at BAPS. So it was probably refreshing for Anthony to go out there and do what he had to do at BAPS when he knows Hagerstown and a Port Royal, Williams Grove, Lincoln are all strong suits. I don't know if he's been the dominant car at BAPS often. So that was probably pretty heavy weight off his shoulders, I would think, to go out there and go do that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just BAPS is usually pretty tough.
It just keeps telling this. It keeps that story going of Macri's. We've talked before about him improving year to year, going anywhere. Him out in the road with high limit. He's been pretty in contention everywhere he's unloaded at. I think I saw somewhere like Knoxville. He finished 15th something one night with his worst finish in almost 2 months. So, I mean, I'm surprised that he's going to be coming to our track around here. He has some laps at and be pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like weeks ago now that crash with Brent, and I talked to him after a little bit, and he said he just messed up. He just made a mistake, and he got tight off Justin Peck, got up in the marbles, and it just gone. Got up in the rough stuff and just started tumbling. So, tore up a good car that was really tuned in, dialed in for him. So, sucked to have that happen. But talking about BAPS, that was a great surface there as well. A little rough on the top, but guys were able to maneuver around. And a couple comments here about BAPS. They're getting a new flag stand, and I heard that was coming at that race. I heard that was coming, and I was just looking at it going, well, when's that going to happen? When do they have time for that?
Yeah,
I looked today. I looked today after they had practiced Wednesday and they had a race Saturday night. It's torn apart. So
it's about time, though. I mean,
they got to get hustling.
Unlimited around that thing for how long?
Yeah. Get that thing hustling, get that thing in, and I'm excited for the Outlaw race. I can't wait to be there and participate and be a part of it. So I'm excited to be there and witness.
Mad Matt tuning in from down under. Thanks for tuning in as always. And Dave Smelter and Christopher Noel both pointing out about the new flag stand, and that should be pretty good. BAPS, more they continue to take steps forward here. They're getting outlaw races now. Hopefully it goes well for them. They did at that Speed Week show, they were pushing them out from the infield, which is not something that I don't think they've done. I mean, they don't really have that many time trial shows to begin with. But they were doing that. I had my reservations on how they were all going to fit down there, but I know it was a little tight, but it worked out really well. I thought they did a really, really good job. They had enough room to push them off and keep the push trucks inside. So they did a really, really good job with that. So should be interesting. Excited to see the Outlaw race there.
Well, you're 100% right. And really what I'm thinking about now is to think about the car counts. It's going to be more than we have for Speed Week. So can they make all that work, that organized? We'll see.
They might have to split it in 2 flights. If it's enough to split in 2 flights, you just do 2 flights then.
It might be enough cars to do that. And if it does, that'll probably be a big advantage for them to keep it organized. They'll kind of like they do at the Grove or wherever, push them around, flip flop, and Group 1 and Group 2. So that would probably be the best case scenario for them, I would imagine, in this case.
Chris, any thoughts from Baps?
No, I mean Baps. I'm curious to see the Outlaw show and how that's going to go. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about the parking and traffic being a nightmare, but
I think with it being a weekday race, it's gonna pack. Don't get me wrong. Get out of here, Cat.
Because they always get, for all the events I've been to, even the November show, they get a big turnout, and it's kind of a nightmare getting in and out of there at times.
Well, but they have a lot of land that they have available to park that they never did before. So that area that is directly across from the front stretch on the other side of the road,
right?
That wasn't always available to park in for a long. I'm going back a few years. That's available. The flea market across off of like turn 1 and 2 across that road, that's available to park, I believe. So they have more parking available now than ever. I've been at races where it was just off of 3 and 4 in that area between the track and the house. Oh my God, I parked in mud holes. I parked in places that I don't think should have had a car in it. Like
I think that's what I'm connecting it to, because I've always parked there, even from the first time, like driving through cars, sliding through mud. And
and there's a lot more now. There's a lot of available space. And really that little lot that's right across the pit, the front stretch pits there, that's right across. That's a lot of cars that can fit in there. If they do that right, and I don't know if they're gonna have parking attendants or not, but if they actually get that set up and right, they can fit a lot of cars there. So
the one thing I'm really curious on how it's gonna work is the merch. Because they do all their merch across the street, which is technically not.
It's not on the grounds.
Not on the ground. So are they gonna? Usually there's a big thing with how the Outlaws are. You gotta, you can only sell them. So are they gonna put them? Where are they gonna put the Outlaw merch, and how are they gonna separate it from Posse merch? We'll see. But I do agree. I think they have a lot more room now. I noticed that, and even getting out of there for the Speed Week race, which it wasn't packed to the gills, but there was a lot of people there, and I had no problem getting in and out. It was actually pretty good. It was one of the better experiences I've had this year, getting in and out of a track. So,
is there another division of cars that night with Baps?
It's a good question.
Because if there's not, it's going to be a shit show getting out of there. It really will be.
Yeah, because everybody's gonna leave at the same time.
Yeah, that road going out to was Newberrytown Road or whatever it is. It always gets backed up on busy nights. So I can only pray for a second division that everybody can leave in hands a little bit, because you'll be there for a while, I think, unless you scoot out early or you're waiting for a while. So what's up? What's up, Cody, Dakota, Ant? Ant was actually on a podcast a little bit ago while we were racing, and I went in there and said, Ant is my dad. So now I am your dad, which is probably more correct based on age because I'm old. So, but either way, I wish Ant was my dad. He's cool. He wears cool sunglasses.
Doesn't say anything about a support division.
I wouldn't think they wouldn't, just because they're probably going to get 40, 45 cars. They could get 40 pretty easily, I think, with all the Outlaws and, on a weeknight. I don't know if another division's definitely. It'd probably be good to help widen the track up. I don't think it takes very much for the track to get widened out there, especially if you're going to have 40 sprint cars or so. So I think that'd be fine.
Do you guys know the last winner of an Outlaw show at Babs?
Oh, hold on. What year was it? I know it's been 19 years. 19 years?
31 years ago.
Oh, 31. Holy shit.
You will know this answer, and if you don't, you're going to be pissed. That's your hint.
Well, it's Donnie Christ Jr., it's Steve Kinzer, it's Fred Raymer.
Kinzer won it Kenzer won it in 32 years ago.
31 years ago, the last winner.
There you go, Aunt Bay. Kind
Got
of.
it.
Stevie.
That's
but yeah.
Ding, ding.
Okay, I
Now
want to cancel the
Jeremy
race.
has to do a shoey now.
No, I want to cancel the race. If Steve Smith was the last winner, he needs to remain the last winner
Well, it's Stevie.
forever.
So
Oh, it's Steve E. Smith, even better.
Stevie, August 2nd, 1992. How about that? Fun fact.
That was my childhood driver, Stevie Smith, man.
I knew you'd
Like,
be so upset. Get
cancel
good.
the race. I hope it rains.
That's savage.
Well,
that escalated.
be careful what you wish for. The way it's been going here, you never
If it
know.
rains that day, we know who to blame.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All
No
right.
problem. All right, what else? What Hagerstown? Hell of a race there.
Hagerstown was next. We had rainouts Monday. Right? Monday.
Monday, they got moved to Thursday.
Lincoln got rained out. They pushed that they took the open date on Thursday. Grandview rained out on Tuesday. That completely got canceled. Hagerstown did get in. It was the best day of the week. Weather-wise, they had nothing to worry about, and it was the best race of the week. I mean, I guess between that and Lincoln.
Pretty damn close.
It was pretty close. They were both great finishes. It was all Brett and Macri. There was good paddles, it seemed like, from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th on back, between like Lance, Freddie, Devin. But obviously all eyes were glued on that lead because they were sliding each other back and forth. And, you know, you had every Hagerstown lover on their soapbox saying, this is why it needs to be on the PA Speedweek schedule, even though it's in Maryland. And yeah, it puts on a good show. I mean, it's the only 410 show they get all year. So it's definitely something to look forward to. It's definitely something different. And yeah, it did not disappoint.
Yeah, you know, watching that race, I was really like, someone's going to take control. Like I felt like someone will throw that slider, someone's momentum to be killed, and someone's going to take control, whether it's Brent or Anthony. And, you know, for a while, I thought Anthony was really the class of the field, and Brent was kind of throwing sliders to kill momentum and just kind of hang around. And then after that restart, it felt like Brent was the best one. And then Anthony came right back. It was really wild. Like I thought for sure one of them was just going to take control and finish the race off.
Nope.
It never got there. So it was super entertaining. It was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, Brent got that win after Macri took down the first two. And it was like I said, it was definitely one of the best races of the week, one of the best races of the year. We didn't have many races for PA Speedweek, but we definitely got two probably top 5 candidates for race of the year, I would say, out of those two. So at least we got that, you know, quality over quantity.
That's not
for
how it
sure.
works.
What?
That's not how Speedweeks is supposed to work.
That's not how Pennsylvania works around here. It's always about quantity. Just race more.
So yeah, we go from Hagerstown, we go to Lincoln then Thursday, the rescheduled race.
Freddie won by a lot, right?
Freddie, you were wrong. It wasn't Anthony and Brent. It was Freddie.
Freddie won? Oh yeah, Freddie did win
by a lot.
won
And then
by
there was
a
a
lot.
caution, and a caution kind of bunched him up, I think, at the end. But Freddie was gone. You know, because they gave him the pole or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's correct.
That's what all
Lincoln gave it to him.
That's what the social media has told me.
They played favorites. All the Danny fans.
Yeah. Anytime he
I'll
gets
let you
the
know.
pole, does something good, it attracted it, not him. So, you know, yeah, that doesn't get old. I love it. Let's talk about that every week when he wins or starts in the front row, or someone else randomly gets penalized, puts Freddie on the front row. It's definitely an all-out attack.
It's never Freddie.
It's
never Freddie driving well, driving smart.
No.
It's always just gifted to him.
Terrible driver.
Yeah.
The track gives him all of it. 2 generations worth of that now, really. So I've been hearing that my whole fucking life, and that's getting old. Anyway, not a great race at the front of the field, but great battles throughout the field. Chase Dietz and Justin Peck went at it really hard. You know, pretty good throughout. You know, and Freddie did his job. Tricky track, did his job, did what he had to do, and took it home. So he was pretty happy about that. It was his 7th Lincoln win of the year. So think about that. We're in July, and he has 7 wins at Lincoln this year. So
one of the most winningest drivers in the country when you think about it. So
I think he is still.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know if anyone's taking it
well,
over.
Macri might be now.
And Lincoln has given him all of them. So, you know, kudos to Lincoln Speedway for being
keeping their name up on the national board, you know.
Yeah, Lincoln Speedway is leading the country in wins. So just handing them out.
This is surely going to get the chat fired up.
I hope so, because I'm really over it. Anyway, but yeah, moving on. What was that? It was Thursday. Friday night, Williams Grove.
Brent Marks.
Friday night, Williams Grove. Let's talk about this one, Chris.
Yeah,
well,
Chris.
let's talk
It was
about
good.
Brent Marks.
It was good.
Brent Marks.
I think they.
From Matt Green.
Let's talk about Williams Grove first before we get into the actual race, because they deserve a round of applause for getting that in.
Do they?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because the way the weather looked, I mean, well, one, they're not going to want to lose 2 Speedweek races for sure. So you knew they were going to push. But 2, you know, they got in. I mean, they worked at it. They moved the inner pits outside. It was looked a little chaotic, but not too bad. And they got it in. You know, the track wasn't great. It's pretty locked down, but that's Williams Grove. So I mean, that's any time it has moisture in it, that's what it's going to be. But they got the race in, so they got their ticket money. Good for them.
20,000 to Brent.
20,000.
I think it was interesting of them. I think it was good seeing them make a decision that was conducive to keep racing by moving to the outside pits instead of just leaving. That's from the fans' perspective.
Was it Williams Grove's decision?
They at least signed off on it, so that's something.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you how this went. I got there. I left the house late. Not very confident in thinking this was going to happen. Got there and the track was ready. There weren't even push trucks on the track. They were not running the track in. And as I get there, I come across the bridge, coming into the pits, and I see Danny on the side of a hauler or driving a hauler, beeping the horn, telling people get out of the way, and he's gone out the back gate. And I walked up there, and here comes Wagaman's trailer. I'm like, did he just cancel? They're like, no, they're just moving to the back. And I'm like, what the hell is happening?
I feel like this is the start of a long trend.
It was not the track. The track was fine. The track was ready to race on. They could not get the off where they come off the track in turn 3, the access road. They could not get it dry. They didn't feel safe getting cars through there. So
what's up, Billy?
He's talking
Billy
about the one
and you're saying Jay-Z with the photo of the weekend.
where he's
probably we're gonna get to that. I wish I got the whole thing because I watched the whole sequence with my eyes, and then I got the photo. That's when I started hitting the button. So shame on me for not being prepared. I should have been. I was not. But so this hauler parade, and I was just listen. I was there, but I wasn't in the meetings. It was all happening before I got there. The pits are paved, Travis.
Pits are paved. That's the funny
They are
part.
paved. They water the pit because they don't want to clear the damn clay off of it.
Yeah, if they would just clear. Never mind.
The access
road.
road.
That access road isn't, is it?
The access road is but it's even more broken down than the pits as far as what's on it. So, I should have been prepared also. But anyway, they moved all the haulers out back. It felt like a shit show going on, but this all was sort of spearheaded and Danny was the ringleader of it. And this is where the idea came from. They said, let's do it. They wanted to get the show in. Then the next challenge was pushing all 410s for time trials from the back pits because you couldn't use the front pits. So how do you do that? They talked about pushing them off in the pits out back. But that
not just that.
Lincoln style, just real.
And I've been back there. I was back there for just USAC East Coast not that long ago, and they had 20-some cars, and it was chaotic back there. Not like terrible, but it's chaotic. You got cars coming in all directions. There's no way you can make that happen.
And let's be honest, this won't end up being the first time a track changes their time trial procedures. Before we're done this show, maybe we'll get there. I don't know, but they ended up pushing 2 cars at a time out onto the track, fired them off. The push trucks were able to get through the access road, and then they just cycled them around. So it took a little longer, but they did put the effort forward. They did get the show in. Yes, they got it in. So we had a super heavy track. It never widened out. We had vapor trails. Guys were tight. It was hard to drive. It was elbows up for sure. And Brent did what he had to do, and and took home the money. So yeah, moving on from that night.
Yeah. You have any opinions, Chris, on Williams Grove?
Oh, I'm sure we'll get back to that. We have a lot of stuff to get
We
back
got
to.
we got time. Like, this is your time.
Well, I'm waiting for us to get
He's
the
waiting
other
to get to
17
the
Williams
negative
Grove.
stuff instead of the positive stuff. Okay.
I'm waiting
All
to get
right.
through all of this stuff.
All right. So Friday, Saturday, Port Royal.
This started
Oh,
the trend of
You guys got rained on again.
Well, I didn't go Saturday just because I was not confident at all and I wasn't really feeling it. I just didn't, it started a trend of 3 straight nights of going to the track, unloading the car, getting out for hot laps or heat, or at least motor heat, getting rain, waiting a little bit to eventually cancel. It was just the tracks tried, both Port Royal and Selinsgrove Grove tried. I appreciate the effort, especially for bigger shows here. I'm fine, especially on a weekend or a holiday. I'm fine with being there till like midnight. You know what I mean? If I have to be, it's not ideal, but I'd rather wait it out and then have to come back, drive back a whole nother time and stuff like that. I'm sure teams are like that to an extent, but there's the balance there. But it was just really bad luck 3 days in a row. Had maybe rain early, sun came out, dried it up. All right, we're good. Maybe we'll miss it. Don't miss it. Get clipped. Clip just enough to make the track wet enough and cancel it. So what happened Saturday night at Port happened again at Selinsgrove Grove. Selinsgrove Grove, we got into time trial. No, we got into heat races. We got into like midway through heat races. Or not heat races, hot laps, sorry. And man, the sun came out. I really thought they were going to be, it was just too much rain in such a short amount of time. Wow. I really thought, and you could tell they really wanted to
say what you want to say there, buddy.
I'm saying exactly what I want to say. You could tell that they really wanted to push to try to get it in. But some of the pit area just was against it. They didn't want to be there all night. It was a Sunday night. They had to be at work the next day and stuff like that. So I understand, so they rallied together and said, hey, we'll come back next Sunday and then we'll talk about that later because that didn't happen. And I don't know what's going to happen now there.
Who was the ringleader of the Selinsgrove Grove Brigade?
It was a couple people. There's a marriage counselor in there. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, Danny was a lot of like rounding people up, trying to get opinions. It seemed like, and I think most of the opinion was not going to be able to get the track running. They tried to run it in for about 20 minutes, half hour. But there's some people that wanted to stay, some people that wanted to go, and you needed somebody to be in the middle there to make the call, and that's what they did. So tried to bring it back this Sunday, and they ended up getting rained out. Monday, same deal. Port Royal, they got through part of the time trials. They
got half of it. Freddie was fast, which is
Freddie was
weird.
the quick time, which was weird. Insane.
Makes people
to me,
go up there.
Not, but
I don't know why Lincoln would do that.
Then it rained, and then
it rained freaking hard.
Yeah, it rained really hard.
Like
they waited, they tried
freaking hard. Yeah, and they tried, they waited, and it just wasn't going to happen. Like it rained on Saturday when I was up there. It didn't rain that hard, and they were canceled. Man. It rained freaking hard, and it took them a while to be like, all right, we're throwing the towel in here. But
and then we ended up going back. We finally get back to Tuesday, 4th of July, and we finally get that port race in, which was it felt like a marathon.
A little bit.
I mean, there was a couple accidents, and with the 360s there too, it took a while, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad.
The track was rough, right?
Track was giddy up, especially I was in 3 and 4 all night. I'm sure 1 and 2 was pretty much like that too. It was very bumpy. I mean, after you get as much rain as we had over that past week,
it's part of it. I mean, it caught what Danny in 3 and 4 got.
Yes,
Borden.
That happened.
Borden kind of got the wall.
Yeah, the track didn't get Borden. The wall did. Yeah, I guess that's part of the track, but he failed to navigate the turn properly.
Yeah, Danny just biked it, went over, tore up a.
Danny was weird. Very sudden the way it did it. It wasn't even like. It was strange. I watched that. replay it. Like it hit a hole and was just gone. Like
I saw
strange.
this like Lewis's video. You see him go in, and he just jumps off the ground and then just flips.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
Yeah, it was like a freaking pogo stick. Thing was just gone. It was a pretty big flip too. I'm glad he was all right.
Yeah, that was gnarly. I think it was a brand new car, and he pretty much tore.
Yeah, I think he said it had
up.
like 5 laps or 45 laps on it or something total.
I think that was the car they were supposed to be taking to Eldora, so it's going to be lots of work this week.
Macri runs away with that race though. Takes the lead from Logan Wagner pretty early, couple laps in. Pretty much checked out from there. It was decent racing from there on back. 2 pretty big wrecks. 3 big wrecks, actually. There was one on the backstretch where TJ Stutz ended up in the grass in the backstretch.
Yeah, he ended up on the access road to the pits, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't seen or heard what happened there because Halligan was somehow there.
I think it was related. Lance was having a hellacious time getting going on that start specifically, and I think it was an accordion from Lance all the way back, and they just all banged wheels and went for rides.
It was open red on lap 3. That's just goes to show how rough of a time it was to start, and just was kind of how it went. Wasn't a bad race at all. Macri takes down the win. He pretty much at that point because of Brent's Baps wreck, pretty much it kind of just Macri basically just had to start the feature without Brent having a perfect night and getting quick time and winning his heat race and stuff like that, which didn't happen. So basically he just had to start the feature to clinch it, and he did, but he went out and took care of business, and he was able to really run the top better than anybody. That's how he got the lead. And my observations with Macri is he's gotten so good with lap traffic. That's been one of his things that I've noticed this year that I don't want to say he turned a corner on or anything like that, but I think that's been the biggest difference on why he's been able to get so many wins and kind of in dominating fashion is he's able to slice through lap traffic compared to times that, especially at Port in years past, where I wouldn't say it would hold him up, but he would just kind of run his line and
Right. I think
he's more aggressive now, and it's working.
He's not a one-trick pony anymore. Like it was a time at Port Royal, he had to be on the wall, or if the track wasn't there, he wasn't going to be really in contention. That time has passed. He can kind of go wherever he needs to go to keep moving forward. And I think it was Lance that said something like a year ago about once he learns that part, it's gonna be tough to touch him. And we're seeing it. We've seen him in the high limit shows. We've seen him all Speedweek long, just go wherever he has to go to make it happen.
Macri's having now, I don't want to say it yet, but he's having close to a year of what Brent Marks was having last year, just being that kind of dominant. We'll see how we go into these bigger races here, because if to be able to, nobody's going to have a year like Marks had last year.
Well, somebody's going to.
But maybe. I don't mean in terms of. I don't mean in terms of. I mean partially the money, but I mean in terms of big wins. Brent killed it last year in that department, so. So we'll see how Macri does, and Brent's definitely a player. He's had some bad luck, like in that Port race. His front wing just flipped over when he was running second, and he wasn't necessarily tracking down Macri, but he was keeping pace. He was probably the next fastest car, definitely.
And there ended up being a late restart. So if he, he has the front wing, who knows, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was slow by any means, but the front wing really kind of stumbled him up there for sure. I think he started that restart in third, ended up fourth. Just tried to roll the bottom at the end there. It was a little slower where the front wing may not have mattered as much. I don't know. And he kind of held his ground. I mean, it was flipped over completely backwards.
Yeah.
Held his own, but finished fourth in that one. And I believe the top 3 was Macri, Wagner.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, both the Wagners.
That way.
Mike Wagner's been with that Borden wreck. Mike Wagner ended up taking the points lead at Port Royal. He's been so consistent. He's been like top 5 almost all the time, no matter where he starts. He's been really, really good there. And he's always been pretty good there, but this year especially, he's been very consistent. So good for him.
That ends Speed Week.
That ended Speed Week. Basically, we'll say Anthony Macri's champion, but we really know that the rain won it. It not only did it take 4 races from us, but it also the Williams Grove race was kind of subpar because of all the moisture.
That was about it, though. I mean,
yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, the track at Port Royal was rough, but I don't mind that. You know, track with some character once in a while.
Yeah, it was definitely a little faster and it had character, so that was a nice change of pace from what we've been used to. Anthony Macri and Brent Marks and Justin Peck, top 3 in Speed Week. So
Peck was basically like third to 8th all week.
You just didn't even really hear much about him, and just kind of there.
Yeah, he never really competed for a win, but that's because Macri and Marks were just so good. And then you also had Freddie dominating Lincoln, which I keep forgetting about that. But yeah.
So we get a couple days off, right? Yes. We race Tuesday, get a couple days off, and we get to Friday.
And it starts raining again.
Oh,
they're calling for rain again.
Sort of.
Did
it rain?
Did it rain at my house? My house, no.
And how far
are you your house?
1.8 miles.
Sounds like summer thunderstorms in Pennsylvania. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, they had their fan appreciation night, so they still, there's some talk about them not canceling early.
The whole picture. So rain called for 50-50 all evening, thunderstorms, stuff like that, right?
As it's been for 2 weeks.
I didn't look either way. Dakota Kuhn was in the parking lot, said he was getting rained on. I was not. I was here, not getting rained on. It definitely got dark. You could hear thunder. I don't know that I ever got rain. So, like we just said, hit or miss. I don't know what the right or wrong call is. But to frame it, so we had some of the teams and drivers really not looking forward to going there. I know Givler and those guys decided to stay home because in Enola they got completely flooded, basically, with all the rain that they got over there. Jeremy, you said your house, York Way, rain a ton. We don't care about Jimmy being 2 hours away on this time.
But either way, 1.8 miles from the track, it did not rain.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything in Central PA. And, and these tracks are definitely in a spot that they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yep.
They really are in that way. And that's the way we've been all year. I think that what's your 10. So in years past, we always kind of shit on Williams Grove for it, right? We shit on Williams Grove for just pulling the plug early.
Right.
This year, though, they're not alone. These tracks are now pulling the plug because of financial. If they believe that the rain and weather are going to hold fans away, they're just canceling.
Right. And we heard that from Justin Snyder put it out with him. If we can't get it, and it's a thing though, and the part cancel, don't cancel, race, don't race, whatever. It's these fans or whoever just want to go bash whoever it is. Like, we just talked about Speed Week. Williams Grove gets lit up the first week because they're got canceled, even though it was clearly raining.
I don't think anybody everybody knew that was coming. Nobody really kicked back on that.
Overall, next week they're getting blowback because they're moving the pits because now they're trying to get a race in. But like, well, can you pick a lane? Because now you're mad that they're getting a race in. This past Friday they cancel, and they're like, oh, we saw that coming. Like, well, yeah, on the radar it was coming, and they waited until 7. So what do you want to do? Rain or no rain? But then Port on Speed Week Saturday goes to race. Gets rained on. Everyone's pissed because they canceled when they're already there. Like, well, what the hell you want them to do? The sun was out and then it started raining.
Oh yeah, the amount of meteorologists that popped up in the last 2 weeks in Central PA. What weather app are you guys using? We knew it was going to rain. We're the smartest people alive. You're idiots. Like, I'm so fucking tired of hearing it. Like, everybody's now the couch racer, the hindsight's 2020. They're all smarter than racetracks. They don't. Why would you drive us all out here? You knew it was going to rain.
And Jimmy, you made me go this way. The same Friday night, you have Williams Grove cancel because the Outlaws pulled the plug, I guess, early, and they were doing a test session on the track.
They let Hunter Schoenberg test on the track that got rained out. Sun was out, track was good enough to run on,
and it's just
there's fans in the stands that drove a couple hours that stayed there and watched Hunter Schoenberg turn some hot laps. That's the flip side. That's what happens when you don't try,
Right.
That's
but
how
at the same
that,
time,
I think that looks worse.
it maybe, but it depends on who you're going for. From a race fan side, sure. But I mean, Danny was very vocal on social media all day Friday. Cancel the race. It's gonna rain. Gonna rain. That's his right. He's the one putting the money out there. You don't have to agree with it,
But you
but
don't have to go either.
right. And that's just what it comes down to. From my side, it's like don't race or do race. I don't care. I'm going either way. If I'm me going to Williams Grove or Port or wherever it is, once I decide I'm going there until they say I cannot be there, which is like the World of Outlaws show and right.
That's the one that
But that's
blows
me.
my mind. People showed up, paid their money, and then bitch say, "We knew it was going to rain all day. You drove us to the racetrack." No,
Right.
you idiot! You drove yourself to the racetrack.
They got
Don't-
16 cars
Right.
before they called it.
And I
With
get
Danny at the pit gate.
the next
Okay.
level to this though is Danny. So yes, he was at the track. Yes, he was there. But if you are racing for points, I mean, I guess you kind of have to be there in case it does happen, or else give up the points. Which I don't know about. I'm not into the car owner
He didn't
sponsor
go.
business.
He never made it. He wasn't there, was he?
He was sitting at the pit gate outside of it. Yeah,
Oh, outside.
he never went in. Never went in. I guess he got there, was getting ready to go in, then the rain came. That Dakota says was there. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm with Jeremy. Everybody wants to criticize everything because they're geniuses.
I'm more on the side of trying to get it in unless it's
Oh,
like
of course.
obvious of like, hey, we're getting 3 inches of rain today. When it's 50-50 showers, I say try because you never know when it's gonna miss, or when you might just get a quick shower and you might be able to run the track back in a half an hour. You know, I get it. It's not ideal, but shit, like if you don't try, you're gonna stop getting.
But
they didn't have
Jeremy's
a lot of
original-
cars there, and you're not gonna get a lot of fans there, and then that's gonna change the decision, and then that's slippery slope.
So even if it was a sunny day, 85 degrees, no chance of rain, how many cars are there that Friday?
I think they get at least 24.
Maybe.
No,
You know,
I
I don't think so. I
There
really
was
They've
a
had
couple there
19
that
on-
would have
they've had
showed up.
19 on perfect nights.
Right, you're getting full fields this year, earlier in the year, but you just come off speed week, so some of the guys that aren't running for points are gearing up. We have a bunch of big races coming. Not that that's big. If you're not running for points, do you really need to be there? If you don't need the track time, like some guys like Jordan getting out
It
late.
was an
they're
outlaw
there.
tune-up race.
You just did
Nobody-
6 of them.
Nobody gives a shit
I
about
know.
that.
So,
They would have had maybe 21 cars.
right, I'm thinking more than 20, 21 cards. I mean, a couple guys stayed home, but
Brenneman, Jordan, obviously Danny didn't enter, right? So there was 19.
Case Dietz.
Knowing.
but Dees I don't think was ever. He
Dietz
was going to be there.
go. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, he was planning on being there, but so I think 2021. So really, you have 5 guys. Fan wise, it wasn't going to be pretty. I don't think. I've been in enough local shows, especially after Speed Week. Luckily for the Grove, there wasn't a lot of Speed Week, so maybe you have more fans, but still not crazy amounts more. I don't know. I think Jeremy made a note with Justin said, if the money's not there, why force the issue?
That's the added layer to it that we haven't had in the past. I'm with Jimmy, and I would love to have them make an effort, but
Right.
you're not going to
Same.
see. You're going to see that less and less. You're going to see it less and less because of the income, money, business factor of it. If they don't think they're going to get the fans enough to cover and pay the purse and do all that, a business decision, they're canceling. It isn't about the effort anymore. Want to do it? They would love to put on a race and make money, but if they're not, they're going to just cancel. Like that's the change in everything about this in today's day and age. Is it's not just that we want to; it's can we afford to?
Right, and it's the same with the race teams. Like, you ask who wants to go to the Million. Every race team that has a competitive car would love to be at the Eldora Million this week, but it doesn't make business sense for a lot of these guys to go out there to maybe make the CMA. It's the same principle. Like, if it's not going to make business sense, you have to.
Yeah, except not all teams run as a business.
Maybe not.
Some of these teams are doing this as a hobby, even at the 410 level. They're not doing it to make money.
And I guess
The
like
track
Michael
is solely open to make money. They're not there to entertain us. They can call it entertainment all they want. They don't open up the gates for them to lose money. There are some teams out there running for points
sure
and running a business, but not a lot of local teams, dude. So it's not quite the same. That track won't operate if it's not making money.
Right. And then you have the ones that there's 2 types of arguments that make me mad. The most mad. It's the ones that were never going to go to the race anyway, telling all of us what to think. Those idiots that live 3 hours away to make sure we know it's raining at their house. Like, I don't give a damn that you're 3 hours away and it's raining at your house.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
steak
give it-
college meal. Like I give a shit it's raining at your house.
I don't care. Okay,
That's
if you're
relevant
if you
information. It's probably
if
raining
you are in
Kansas, too.
Rossburg, Ohio, telling me Williamsburg is a shithole and it's going to rain, I don't care because you're not going and you'll never be going. And when you do end up going there, I hope it rains so I don't have to see you.
Yeah.
The I forgot my other one. Oh, the idiots that like, oh, just shut the track down so the other tracks can benefit. That's dumb too. Like, why would you, if you're a race fan, why do you want any racetrack to shut down?
Well, I want Williamsgrove to shut down.
I want your house to shut down.
There it is.
It's just, I don't know. It's a lame argument and stupid. Like, why would you cheer for the downfall of something that you're apparently a race fan of? That's like, oh, I'm a big Jordan Givler fan, but I really hope his engine blows today. You're an idiot. Like, like to me, it's the same argument. It's like,
If his motor blows now this weekend, it's all your fault.
it's still Dakota's fault. I don't touch the car. I don't even look at it.
Don't you put that evil on me. Oh.
The only reservation I have with Williamsgrove is that sometimes they put themselves in positions by being
I think
a little
what
too
I was-
complacent at times.
What I've established is, yeah, but the first time they go to do anything that's not complacent, they get lit up by everyone on social media. They're moving the
Yeah,
pit.
they
So,
put themselves in a position
that's my-
to be criticized either way.
Like,
They've earned
and
it.
they've done it to some degree, but it's like every week it's tiring. I am so tired of fighting it. It's not even worth fighting anymore. Everyone just go to track or don't. I don't care.
Jim, you got some fan stuff going on here, buddy.
Yeah, let's let me go back here to Brad Weatherby saying, "Hey, all the tracks did well for Speedweek under the circumstances." I agree. I think the tracks tried when one thing, and we're talking about it with with the want to do it. Something that Port Royal and Selinsgrove both had all 3 nights was fans were there. It was packed. The pits were packed. The fans were there. People that were going were there. You're fucking weird, dude. So I do think, I think that, when that's the circumstance, yeah, let's try to do what we can. I thought they did a good job of doing as much as they could. There's just, you can only go so far against Mother Nature. Steel City Demon here. The line between playing it too safe and canceling too late or canceling too early is so thin that there's no right or wrong. Yeah, pretty much. Dakota Coot saying, I have the best weatherman of
Jordan Thackeray.
ABC 90 News. Can you go away,
Jordan
Kat?
Givler.
Kat, you're going to push some buttons, and I'm going to give you the Jack Young.
ABC 90 News. Well done. I see what you did there.
Mad Matt over here.
Posted a random Facebook story link. Thanks, bud.
And this was something I was going to get to later, but we might as well talk about it now. Ryan Newton from Queensland, Australia is coming to race in your backyard. Really good driver and nice guy. And then he follows it up. It would be awesome to see him on your show. So maybe we will have to. He's coming over. He's racing pretty much a Pennsylvania-centric schedule from now through October, just about through September.
Yeah, I think I made a comment on Matt's post or somebody's post about this, that this kid's already basically old man. I don't even know how old the guy is. He's basically posse. He already has scheduled enough races to be considered posse. We'll claim him as well because that's what we do, right? So he's now posse. So
yeah, so we'll try to link up with him. If you have a direct contact to him, hit us up because we'd love to have him on.
Be his agent, yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So Chase Dietz wasn't.
Chase Dietz was there. My bad.
I didn't know either. Didn't watch enough of it. I was, like, okay, it's raining or something.
One thing I did like about them doing it on Friday was it was fan appreciation. I think that kind of had a part of it. You still had
Take 2, by the way. It was raining out the first time as well.
And they took a lot of pictures of it, and it looked bright, sunny, dry, and you had fans, kids getting autographs, all this type of stuff, them going through the pits and meeting all the drivers. And I think that's good. I think that was worth probably, the little bit of effort that they did do. So, I did like that for them. Dakota, let's not forget for fans, you could sit home and watch that. Not all the time, but yes, you can, if you're willing to pay. Aunt Bay, damn, one of these guys called me out. I think that was talking about the weather 2 or 3 hours away.
Yeah, and he's in New Jersey, by the way. It doesn't work that direction. It doesn't. If it's raining in New Jersey it turns out it's not relevant to Pennsylvania, but thanks, Ann.
Mad Matt says, who of you guys live closest to a track and what track?
Chris,
Chris is
1.8.
literally like down the street from Williams Grove.
what is 1.8 kilometers or 1.8 miles in kilometers? What's that conversion, Chris? They do it different down there in Aussie land.
It's literally like a 3-minute drive.
Right. I mean, it's probably.
Wait, do they do minutes in Australia? Is that the same thing? They do minutes? Is time the same measurement in Australia?
Yeah,
I'm
it's 2.8
probably-
2.8 kilometers.
So okay, so I'm like 12 miles from a track. Maybe I'm like from Baps, maybe. I don't again kilometers, I don't know. But Jimmy's Bloomsburg is closest for you, right?
Bloomsburg's literally 4 miles down the road for me. Sealands Grove is the big track that's closest to me. That's about 20 minutes for me. And then all the other tracks are about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Port Royal being the next closest. That's a little bit over an hour.
Yeah, then Williams Grove. Everything else is about an hour. Port's an hour. Lincoln's 35 minutes, and Bab's like 20.
Matt's gonna hook us up. There we go. Matt,
Yeah.
he's 400 miles from Toowoomba Speedway. Is that the closest one? And you do racing
Toowoomba
photography? Where you spend a week there? 400 miles. That's
400
so
miles.
high.
I mean, Australia is huge too. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But he said that's wrong.
Wait, what's wrong?
The
Which
400
part?
miles from Toowoomba.
There's a lot we could have had wrong here tonight, Matt.
Brisbane shut down. Ooh. Australia's not having a good time with tracks. I know they had 1 or 2 open, but they've had a lot shut down.
No, they shut one down, and then they were like, "Well, we'll rebuild it even bigger and better over here."
At least they have a lot of happy race fans, like
Do
ours.
they
That want
though?
all of our happy race fans want all the tracks shut down.
156 miles. That's not too bad. That's still that's further than any of us drive. So that's for sure. You got to be dedicated. You got to go there. So
I could hit all
more
4
power
of
to you,
track,
Matt.
I'm pretty sure.
Alex Robinson is 10 minutes from Clyde Martin. What about Grandview? He's pretty close to Grandview, I'm pretty sure.
Clyde Martin.
Lenko? No.
Why don't they call it Lenko then?
Is that Lenko? I don't know. I get that, and Linda's confused.
And Kutztown has a weird name.
Who is Ryan Newton racing for? I believe he's racing for
Ryan Newton.
himself.
I believe.
It basically his Aussie team coming over. It's the same wrap and everything. So,
do they put the steering wheel on the right side for when they come over here? Like, how's that work? Oh wait, that's not the sprint car.
Do the wings go the same way? You
know? No, they're 5x5 the other way.
It's funny. Yeah, he's running for Ryan Newton. I'm going to call him Ryan Newman at least once. And Lenko is Clyde. So cool. We are caught up.
What else?
Jimmy, how far did you say your one drive was to Port?
To Port, it's a little bit over an hour.
Dude, I can hit all 3 of these tracks round trip 3 hours and 8 minutes. That's sick.
And yes, here you are sitting at home.
Good for you.
These are the fun things I learned. Continue on.
Yeah, what else? So that was Friday right now.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Port Royal and Lincoln on Saturday.
Port Royal.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with Port Royal since Jeremy was at Lincoln, right? So
Port Royal, Devin Borden. That's all needs to be said. He was fired up, I think, a little bit, and started back in like 6th or 8th or something like that, and he just ripped the top and took the lead quick over.
Well, he passed TJ Stutz for second, and then Kevin Bard or Garrett Bard leading. I want to say maybe at that
Garrett
time.
Bard had the pole.
I think
I can't remember.
I'm pretty. Yeah, it was Garrett. Bard was the leader when Devin passed him.
Okay.
It looked like a lap card and the speed difference. It was wild.
Yeah.
Devin.
But yeah,
I was in the pits at Lincoln. We had a break, and I happened to be watching when he took the lead, and we were like, "All right, we need to really see much more, probably."
Thank you, Trevor Royer, for clearing that up. Clyde Martin Memorial Speedway or Lanco. And then you have Action Track USA in Kutztown, and Linda's is just Linda's. Then you got Shellhammers, Greenwood Valley Action Track, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit later because I won't be here next Monday for it, or here because I'll be there. But yeah.
R.I.P. to Trevor Royer in our iRacing posse race a little bit ago. He was like beside me, and then his teammate was beside me, and they were just gone. So I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure he is dead. So Royer, R.I.P.
Virtually.
Your sim car. I think that's what happened. Not sure. But yeah.
Matt with a good question here. What is your assessment of Justin Peck's performance after his wreck? Do you think that shook him up a bit? I think he's been pretty good. He's not winning speed right now, but he's never been really – when he runs here in PA, when all of our people are here, like we have Macri and Marks, he's never really –
the dominant car.
And he was battling for a win at Lincoln, and he came third in Speed Week points by being consistent and being up there. I don't think it shook him up. I think it took him a little bit to get back in, but I think, obviously because that was a pretty wicked wreck. But since he's been back in the car, I think he's been fine. I think he's his normal self. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Same. I think he's fine. Good to go. I mean, I've watched him race. He drives as hard as he was before. He's a young guy. I don't think that stuff affects him a whole lot. And we were never really told what was wrong. So to be honest, he probably just shook up. Maybe got a little.
It honestly might not even have been an injury. It might have just been because they tore the equipment up. They needed to build a new car. So. Yeah. I think that's probably part of it as well.
It was pretty quiet. It was all pretty kept under wraps. It seemed like, and quiet about what was wrong, what wasn't, and he's back and seems to be fine. Yeah, good to go.
So what happened at Lincoln on Saturday?
What did happen at Lincoln? It was what is that English? Between I think it's Ty and Kasia.
What the hell?
This is why we don't listen to guys from 3 hours away.
Our chat may be having a stroke. Lincoln was good. It was freaking hot, is what it was. It was freaking hot, just all around. It was just freaking hot. 37 358s, 30 410s. Good car counts. It was no time trials. It was handicapping. It was pill draws. And we still managed to be there till like 11 o'clock. Neither here nor there. I was helping out with Kyle Keen's crew. Kyle and his dad were working, and I said, "Hey, you need some help?" And I don't know anything. I'm an idiot, but I stood around and got dirty. So it was hot all night. I was still hot when I left. I was hot when I got in my car and came home and took 2 showers. So Danny Dietrich won pretty handily. Got to the front really quick. It was one of those nights. Got to the front pretty quick, and it was definitely a handicap show. You had Glendon Forsyth up front. You had Tyler Ash up front. Jordan and Brett Strickler were up there. Jordan had a great run, ended up P6. Brett faded a little bit. Still a good showing for him for sure.
We should note Jordan Givler.
Yeah. No, he finished 6th. He had a good run. Dakota didn't blow the motor up, and I'm in Dakota jail now. He's very upset. Sorry, Dakota.
But no, it was a good night, and Danny won, and not without some Dietrich on Dietrich crime a little bit.
Yeah.
Billy was also up front there, and on Danny's way to the front, he used on the way to the front of Danny getting to the lead, him and his brother made contact somehow in a straight line. I watched it. I still don't know what happened because they were coming off 2 side by side, made contact, and Billy ended up with a broken race car, and Danny did not. I cannot wait to see the YouTube video of this.
It's the YouTube.
Yeah, Billy, if you're still watching, I'd like to hear your.
I don't want you to give it all away and what happened from your driver's seat. I just know that there was contact made on a very straight part of the racetrack that typically doesn't happen. I know that they were obviously very close coming off two there, racing hard. Billy ended up with a broken race car, and Danny won a race. So there is that. It even looked like in the Danny Dietrich fan page on Facebook, they were getting themselves a little fired
They
up.
did. No, they didn't want to talk about it at all. You weren't allowed to talk about it.
A little bit of infighting there, and they were trying to not have infighting, which if you're going to have that page of that driver, you got to have infighting as much as you have to have outfighting. That makes sense to me. So I tried to keep the pot stirred a little bit. I chimed in here and there and put up the picture that I got of it, which again was more the aftermath than it was the incident. But I mean, I tried like hell, right? If they get fired up at everybody else, why can't they get fired up at each other? So among their own. I was definitely repping the Perigo shirt at Lincoln Saturday without knowing I was going to be on a crew. I had two different people compliment me on my Brett Perigo shirt, so that was pretty cool.
Brett Perigo's a celebrity.
Is and always will be a celebrity in our
He is our legend.
He is our resident celebrity. So, but no, it was hot. It was a good night though. Also, then we saw Chase Gutschall get his first career 358 win. Lincoln gave him the pole. So, Lincoln.
Did I see that Ant had that second place finishing car again?
He did, and I'll tell you what, Kyle had a chance at that. At one lap, Kyle Spence was there. He did run second, and he was on him. And Chase went to the top to go to pass a lap car, and there was nothing left on the top. And he got side by side down the front stretch and couldn't quite close the deal. And Chase ended up P2, so really another good run for them. A lot of guys used a lot of tires though, so a lot of big tire bill after Saturday night at Lincoln. So
Really?
I know Kyle put a brand new right rear for the B main in 12 laps. It was blistering up. So running the top, by the way, that was running the top, not the bottom.
Was that you say Kyle Keene running the top?
I have video of it.
No way.
Like the top.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean he'd rather run the top, but the 358s don't get many opportunities to run the top at Lincoln. By the time their race was there,
that's our other resident hero.
Was it a product of weather? Product of?
It had to be. It was just hot. I mean, he put water on it after the B, I want to say, but it was pretty hard and dusty early, and it was just one of those nights. It was just one of those nights. I don't think there was really a lot of blame. I don't think they would have if they could have it more in their control, they wouldn't have had it that way. It wasn't by design, really. But one of those nights. I don't think it took rubber that I could see. Maybe Keene said it took rubber in the feature of the 358s, which makes some sense to me. When Kyle had to run the B, I don't get into that topic at the moment, but he had to run the B. But they were ripping the lip in the B, so not many in the feature were. But yeah, that was the weekend. And then today we were supposed to be at Selinsgrove. Or wait,
yesterday we were supposed to be at Selinsgrove.
No, this is Monday.
Another rain out.
And it was a 300% chance of rain. Everyone had the same weather app.
It was flooding. I woke up.
And
I got woken up by thunderstorms Sunday morning. And I'm pretty close to the track. I'm not 3 hours away, like Chris is saying. I was probably the closest person to the track. So, I don't know. It was pretty bad. They made the call early as they should have. Just kind of curious on how they're going to play that because they're trying to honor the Speedweek race, the same purse. It wasn't going to be a Speedweek race, but we needed to pack the place, and it seemed like the teams were doing a good job of that. Pretty much all the teams except for maybe one from each division between 410s and New England Sportsmen were going to come back. I do believe, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I do believe that the Wingless Sportsmen are rescheduled. They just haven't announced it yet. I don't know about the 410s. Probably not going to, considering they have a 410 race the day after Summer Nationals, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't think they're going to have it. I don't think that race will be made up.
Probably won't. It probably won't be. But
I mean, I don't know unless it's later in the year. Do they get the support because of the time of the year and dates and whatever else? I just don't think that race.
when they do finally announce, I'm hoping that it's official soon. But what I do really want to see the wingless sportsman there. Brett was ripping in hot laps. He was third in hot laps. He said it was some of the most fun hot laps he ever had, and I do think they would put on a good show there. So I'm hoping that they at least get back. And they had a really good car count. They actually had more than the 410. So
I think it was cool seeing the people that jumped on too for that event, like this, like Middlesworth jumped on. I saw for kind of fan engagement stuff.
Shuttlesworth Stamen gave out 23 pairs of tickets.
Right.
Pairs
So
of tickets.
That's that's cool to see teams buying in, even in that role. Like obviously getting people there and a lot of sharing on Facebook. That's a big driver to help them promote the track and promote the races. But having them jump on the sponsorship side is cool and a big deal too.
Yeah, it's just a bummer because is kind of on the fence about trying to run it that Sunday night, but then kind of getting pushed into going to the next Sunday, which it made sense. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they didn't get the track worked in until probably the next morning. But just kind of unfortunate circumstances for them. They've had some really tough luck, as every track around here has. The weather hasn't been great. It's always been on the weekends, But yeah. So, Chris, how happy were you on Saturday night about Danny Dietrich?
I was so happy. Big.
I could tell. Big Danny Dietrich fan.
This thing actually smells weird. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't worn this thing since like 2017.
If Billy Dietrich's watching, I'm going to clip this and ask him what his thoughts are about Chris's attire right now. He's wearing a Billy hat and a Danny shirt.
I'm not allowed to wear the Jordan Gibbler hoodie anymore.
Just a big Dietrich family fan there, huh?
I just want to be like social media and play both sides of this.
Yeah. What do you think about all that? That's interesting. Hey, real quick, I do want to talk about the Chicago street race. Christopher Noel, I did see him in the pits. He wanted to get my thoughts on that. Sort of the same deal. They did the best best they could with what they had weather-wise. I think it was a historic moment in NASCAR's history on a street course, regardless of the result. The racing ended up being good because you had someone who passed a car to win the race. If Van Ginzenberg was leading that all the way through, you probably wouldn't have been as excited about the racing. But the last couple laps made the racing feel like a good race when it really wasn't a good race. It was a lot of people struggling to get a hold of the racetrack. It made an interesting dynamic with the weather, the rain tires. In the dry, the fast cars were fast. You would not have seen a lot of passing. The strategy screwed some of the fast cars. NASCAR did the best with what they had. Of course, something would put NASCAR in a position to be idiots, and they accomplished that feat as usual. But SVG winning was awesome, in my opinion. I'm okay. I don't defend the NASCAR drivers like I probably would have in years past against other people coming in and whatever. I hope that they all look like clowns and felt like clowns letting this guy beat them, because it was fucking cool to see that guy go out, drive a car from the other side of the freaking car, shift from the other side of the car, and go beat NASCAR guys in America in a NASCAR Cup car. I'm not taking and saying that the NASCAR guys are shit, okay? And I'm not saying that SVG had an advantage of any sort. They didn't. He did what he had to do, and he did it better than everybody else at that time. He drove through the field after getting caught with strategy too. So don't give me the excuse that all these other guys, they did get caught in the back, but he drove back through the field from 18th or something, they said. So I'm here for it. It was cool. The problem is, in the typical NASCAR fashion, because it was an overwhelming success, they'll have 18 street courses next year, and they'll ruin the fanfare and the fun and the excitement of it, because that's what NASCAR does.
I'd be fine with 2 a year.
When Watkins Glen and Sonoma were exciting, they had all the big crashes and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden we had 14 freaking road courses. Now it's played out and boring because they changed the car.
If it starts taking away double dates to tracks that don't really deserve double dates, then I'm fine with it.
I'm not. They'll ruin it. They'll figure out a way to make the racing terrible, and then everybody will be bitching that we're doing too many street courses. That's what happens. That's what NASCAR does. Remember when they wanted to go to all these new markets in mile and a half? They went to all the new markets in mile and a half, and people stopped showing up. Now it's like short tracks. Now they go to short tracks, and we don't have a car that races on a freaking short track for shit. Right now, they were road courses were cool. Now we had all these road courses, Indy road course, and everybody's and now we hear Indy road courses. So NASCAR can never win,
I go
but
back
they
to my
always
earlier.
are mixing the schedule up with a shit combination of the car and bad timing. Like they can't ever quite figure it out. They do need to be on multiple disciplines within ovals and road courses. I get it, but they can never seem to quite figure out what they want to be. Do they want to reach out to these new markets? Do they want to be grassroots? Do they want to be on road courses? Do they want to be on street courses?
They can do
They
both.
don't know what they want to be, and they keep trying to find it. And all the meanwhile, F1 just puts out a Netflix special and gets all the American kids to watch. Like, it ain't that freaking hard. They don't even come to American soil all year. They're 3 times a year. F1, they're in freaking Austria and racing at 9
F1's
a.m.
doing the same thing. They're beating it over. They got Americans now. Now they're going to have 3-4 races a year. They might as well have their own F1 series.
So I just, to NASCAR just frustrates the shit out of me because they don't know who they want to be. They want to be the NBA, they want to be the NFL, and they keep tripping over their own damn feet to do it. So that's where I'm at. That's my go off segment.
Oh, they're fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
so
Eldora.
let's talk about Eldora.
let's talk about Eldora.
I don't know. How many races do you think we actually see this week?
2.
I don't
Well, they
even
would.
know
2, 3?
When's the first Eldora night? What night of the week?
Wednesday. So Doty's on Tuesday, and then you got he's probably changing his shirt again or something.
Shirts. Freddie.
Yeah, Wednesday is the first night of the million. Thursday is the actual million. Friday, Saturday is the King's Royal.
It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I'm not a weatherman. I haven't looked at the weather in Rossburg, Ohio.
Wardrobe changes here, dude.
Just keep talking.
Make up your mind. Are you cold or are you hot?
It's cold down here, actually.
Well, then keep a hoodie on.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Are you sure this time?
No.
I don't know. I'm not a weatherman. I have not looked up the weather in Rossburg, Ohio. I think what I'm going to do is probably tune in that day and go, okay, are they going to race or not? And I'll watch it, or I won't.
Honestly, what you should do is tell everyone Eldora what's going to happen and why you're so mad about it when you're.
Yeah,
tell them that it's raining 3 hours.
Or,
how far away are we? Like 6-7 hours?
6.5 from me.
6.5 hours.
I mean, it's sunny at my house.
Hours away, it's probably gonna be fucked there.
Yeah, I'm gonna look outside and say it's sunny at my house. They should be racing. So
Wednesday, it's thunderstorms, 57% chance.
Yeah, but how much rain is predicted on that?
They'll run
what time of the day?
1/10 of an inch in a day and about half an inch at night.
They'll run until 3 in the morning if they have to.
And what's the history of rainouts at the track? And who owns it? And how bad do they always want to race? And how good is your weather app versus everyone else's? You have to count all that into play.
I'm not.
And be smarter than them.
I'm gonna be smarter by not caring.
They'll get them all in. They'll get them all in. Because if not, they'll just push it to the next day, like Smeal is saying over here, and they'll just do a double like they did for Kings Royal a couple years ago.
Really, Friday, I mean, Thursday and Saturday look the best days weather-wise, which is, I guess, good.
Yeah, our buddy Steel City Seaman went out to Eldora, and he's going to sit around all week and bitch and moan about how bad the weather is, and say he doesn't care, but he'll complain about it because
he's gonna
love it.
It's gonna be.
He'll be the Tissue Award winner for sure when this is all said and done, in real life and on the sim.
85 is a low the 4 days from what I'm seeing.
So, all right, let's just start with the Doty. Let's start with the Doty because Attica's cool. I like Attica more than Eldora.
Is this more of a whole sanction event, by the way?
Yes. Who do we like for that? Because, I mean, they're probably going to have
Donnie shots.
50, 60 shots.
50, 60 shots at Attica. I mean, he figures out that he wins there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who else will show up that's not an outlaw? Anyone? Like
Larson, Rico. I mean, everybody who's running the million's going to be there. So
is Brent?
Yeah,
Macri?
I imagine so.
I don't remember seeing that on Macri's schedule.
I don't know. I'd imagine they would. I mean, it's on the way out. I think it's like 20,000 to win.
What's the weather look like at Attica?
I don't.
Damn right, Brad. Attica's the best track in Ohio.
Oh,
One
I
track
love
I really want to visit. I'd
Same.
like to get to Eldora too, but Attica's
It's on my
really
bucket list. I honestly, I'm not like hyping it up. I'd see Attica before I see Eldora. That place is cool.
I'm
as
with
hell.
you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Tuesday should be fine from what you saw.
But yeah, so we got the Doty. Shots is a good pick. I could see Larson. Larson won it, I think, 2 years ago.
See Chris F's comment.
I'm going to enter the middle and direct like field just so someone Millard can win.
Is that Chris Frank?
No, I think that's Chris Fritz.
Oh, that's Fritz?
I think that's Fritz.
I believe.
I mean, either way.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Sharon is basically PA. Can't tell me otherwise.
Trade it for Lernerville.
Anyway, all right. So then we'll go to the million. Who are your? And we put this out on social media. We got a lot of good answers. A lot of the kind of the same answers.
I had some great answers.
You know, who are your top three? Let's go with top three because it's hard to pick just one. There's anybody who's anybody in a sprint car is going to be at this race trying to win $1 million. Anything could happen.
What's wild to me in all of this, and I saw a lot of the comments, and I made my own. I'll just use my top three. Which, when I thought about it in my head, I was like, man, that's like it's crazy to think about. How many years can you think of going back when you think about a big race, whether it be, the Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals, mainly those two, and you have a conversation with multiple non-outlaws in the conversation.
True.
Heck,
Not a lot of years, but not a lot of years for it. So Larson, Brent, and Rico are really the big three that I think of. And I didn't put Larson in my top three. I don't know why I didn't. I should have because I'm an idiot. But if I think about that, when I think about the top outlaws for this race, you always have to think about Brad Speed. I think you always do. I don't know if Donnie gets that conversation anymore right now. For years past, it would be like Donnie in the top three. Like you figure out who wants to be second and third. But that's not the case now. And I can't believe that I'm going into it thinking of an outsider true outlaw as a favorite for a big race like this. And it's Rico. He is on my radar as the favorite for me going into this race.
Yeah,
in the whole country.
And I put Buddy and Tyler Courtney is right there. I mean,
it's Eldora. Tyler Courtney has to be in this conversation.
I was doing a different. I saw a lot of things. I think to your point though, like Larson, Brent, Gravel.
Yeah, Gravel is going to be another one.
You can't forget those guys. So I wanted to go outside the box a little bit. I mean, you think Buddy, Rico, and Courtney.
Gravel is my outlaw favorite. Like Macedo's on the fringe, but Gravel is my outlaw favorite for this race. Like, to me, I don't even think it's that close.
Gravel then Sweet. Those are my
maybe a
top
hot take, but I think Gravel right now is just on a roll. Now, the outlaw dark horse is Schuhart because he's good at Eldora.
Yeah.
Put the results up at Eldora. They've shown some speed recently. He has to be in that conversation. Is like, I hate to even call it a dark horse, but when I talk about Larson and Mark and Rico and Gravel and, like, it's just crazy that, like, I don't say Schuhart, but he's there. Like, I think he's that guy. Gravel and Schuhart are my top two outlaws.
Danny's my dark horse.
What, to win the B-Man?
Never know, man.
My top three: Larson, Sweet, Brent. I think those are the three. Gravel's definitely right there. I bounce back between Sweet and Gravel. Just something with, I don't know, Sweet's just always there, and I think that's going to be part of it. Just being able to, whether it's going to be such a weird format, a lot of inverts, and I think that kind of helps Sweet in a way. I don't know why, but I don't see Buddy as a player. I don't. I could see him running top 10, but I don't see him playing into being a factor for a win. Rico definitely right there. And Shots will be right there. And I like Schuhart. I think Schuhart's a really good one. Just seems like, I could see him like winning the prelim night, but I don't know about the big night. And if I had to pick a dark horse, it would be Macri.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate on that. I mean, I don't know if Macri's shown me that Eldora type dominant speed. He's definitely been there, but I don't know if like I feel like he's on that fringe of like Brent 3 years ago at Eldora, where like he showed some speed, but he was like, okay, cool. He's starting to show up a little bit. Is he ready to take that step at Eldora? Is he ready to take that step at Knoxville? And listen, I have no reason to say he's not because everywhere he's gone this year, he's been in that conversation and running up front no matter the competition. But I think I got to see it. Like
Yeah.
I hate to just put him. I just hate to put him in that top 1, 2, 3 conversation at Eldora at this event until I see it. And I don't want to sound like a hater in that way, but I got to see it.
No, that's why I'm saying he's like a dark horse. Like he's a guy that like if things fall right for him, you know, and he does turn the corner at Eldora, I could see him being a player. I could see it happening. But I do think those other 6 guys that I mentioned before, way ahead of him.
And the other part, I'll say this, and I'm where everyone's putting Brent in this conversation, and he's earned the right to be in the conversation. I follow him as close as anybody, and this year's been a little bit of a struggle, and he struggled a little bit at Eldora earlier this year when they went out there. He definitely doesn't have the momentum he did last year going into this, where I think everyone last year went into it talking. The Rico conversation for him this year was the Brent conversation last year.
Yeah.
Going into this weekend, and it was like something doesn't need a lot to go right for Brent to win this. He was that fast and can overcome time trial draws and good luck in draws and these kind of things and inverts. That's Rico for me this year. And I feel like it's like Rico's to lose almost before we've even gotten there. And I know no driver would ever be like, say that out loud. But as fans, and we're fans, that's how I feel about it. And I think Brent, obviously high hopes, taking out some good equipment, showing off the new scheme. I'm so hyped about
I was
it.
gonna say he's got gold on the car, so that like adds like 10 extra horsepower.
100% it does. I'm getting it on my iRacing car now because I need to go faster. So, but I'm a fan of Brent's and I have full confidence in his abilities. I hope that they have it right and ready to go because it's going to be difficult. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that it's not like, we're calling Rico the favorite, but man, I can't wait to watch. And who knows who will show up there. But
do we
I'm
think
excited.
somebody sweeps both the Million and the Kings Royal?
Oh,
No,
man.
I don't think so.
We don't see Brent Marks again.
I think there's too many good cars there. And I don't know.
But there were last year.
Yeah.
There was last year. Well, it wasn't $1 million, but it was like basically $1 million last year.
It's basically the same thing that was last year.
I don't.
But still,
if anyone can, I think it's David Gravel.
Right. I mean, I have to agree.
Rico has this thing where like he's won races this year, showed all the speed, but he's had some shit luck. Like
he showed more consistency up front though this year than he's ever had before.
Yeah,
but Selzy. Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know about it being at Eldora. Just if it was, I don't know, a lot of other places. Yeah, I don't know.
I can see Selzy being a player for Knoxville for sure, but Eldora not so much.
Back to the question. I don't know. I don't see a sweep. I don't see that happening.
I want to see Jacob Allen win it all from the bottom.
That would be amazing.
Just rolling the
track
bottom.
could rubber up, man.
Burn the place down, dude. That place would be on fire. It would be set on fire.
The whole country would burn in the best way ever.
Can you imagine what it would do for a team though if the Shark team won the $1 million? Like how cool that would be.
It would be cool. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
How bad would you hard right rear someone for a cold $1 million?
I would Steel City Seaman.
I saw a Twitter poll from somebody today. Maybe Dingus drunk dude.
Do you think Gravel would put up a vote of would you right rear your mom for $1 million, like he did earlier this year? Wait, where'd he go?
He hates us.
Our leader.
Yeah.
I want to see Gravel put up that poll. Would he right rear his mom for $1 million and have people vote?
I mean,
like the comment he made earlier this year at Williams Grove.
What was that even about?
Him and Brent.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm trying to see that poll. That poll though, the poll had it was interesting when I looked at the winner was like death sliders or dirty moves, and I'm like, yep, that's about what you would expect, I would think here.
I hope so. I'm here for it.
Jimmy
Mike.
might need more beers. It's because he didn't take the over, loser.
So then after Eldora, they're off and they come into Williams Grove, right? Directly to Williams Grove.
Baps, yeah, Baps Williams Grove.
That Wednesday, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, Summer Nationals. I'm pretty pumped for that. The weather way too early.
Man, Matt asked what we think of Sheldon this year. I think Sheldon is having a Sheldon year, very inconsistent. Somehow or another, they've lost the ability to time trial, which has really hurt them. I don't know why or what happens when teams lose the ability to time trial, especially with a guy like Sheldon behind the wheel. But they got to get it figured out. I mean, Sheldon can be inconsistent enough on his own without having bad time trial nights. So he can't afford to do that with that happening. And listen, I'm neither side of the fence on Sheldon. I want to see him succeed. I don't have any reason for that. I would want him to not succeed, but I think he's been around long enough. The maturity is happening, I hope. But they got to figure out how to time trial, put them into positions to win. I mean, whatever the case, whatever's happened there, they got to figure out. So,
you think you see changes this year after this year if things don't pick up?
I mean, I don't know what's happening internally on that team with ownership and how they feel about him, how he feels about them, how the crew. I'm not close enough to it to know.
Yeah.
I mean, based on just performance alone, I don't know who you'd put in the card to get more.
I'm not even saying put. I don't see them moving away.
Or
from
you're
him.
saying maybe within the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not close enough with them. Just looking from afar, I can just see results and see what's not working. But I don't know.
We had this conversation, I think, like in a chat or something about Sheldon, and I said, I expect Sheldon to be kind of where Logan Schuchart is at this point, and I guess to an extent he is, but I don't even put him in the top 5 outlaw drivers, and I feel like he should be at this point with the hype around him and the team that he has around him.
I think it's just an off year. I mean, I think last year this time he was in that conversation. I think.
It's like
up
JC
until
was saying, he's having a Sheldon year. This is what he's been for 3-4 years. Not good, not bad at all.
Even in years past, even when he would toss away wins, they were time trialing. They were in the conversation for dashes every single night.
And now
he's having a hard time making it into the feature out of the heat. He's doing a lot more B mains and stuff now. So I don't know if there's just something up there or what.
I mean, the new tire, maybe they didn't adapt to it as quickly.
Well, there's something to be said about that. That's very possible.
I mean,
Between style tire, I didn't really think about that.
It's not even in that. I would even say like Shark Racing hasn't been as good this year as they were last year.
They haven't been as consistent. They've shown nights were very,
There's
very
been random times where they're like, boom, hey, there you guys are. And there's other nights like, where the hell are they? For whatever reason. I mean, it could be a number of things. I mean, I think Shark Racing and them, they'll get some more partners, maybe some more money going in. You think you would see more speed, but maybe not. I don't know. It's too many factors.
Logan's been pretty consistent. I know he's not winning as much as he was, but he's been pretty much there. Jacob's the one that's really kind of fallen off.
Right. Who knows? But I don't know. I think Sheldon, maybe just a down year. I don't know. I don't think you need to flip the apple cart over and start over.
Man, Matt, he lost the Classic on the last turn to Brock. That race was amazing that day, night, whatever time of the day it was over here, night there. I don't even freaking remember. But I watched that race and it was incredible. Like they were burning that place down, man. That was freaking cool, by the way. Did y'all watch that race?
I watched the highlight.
Yeah, that was freaking cool that day or night or again, I don't know what time of year it was anymore. I've lost track, but it was freaking cool.
So Smeal can't stop talking about it in the chat, but the invert. They're talking about for the million. What do we think about that? Because you're inverting a lot, but there's passing points and stuff, isn't there?
I haven't looked at the format. I don't care. Honestly, yeah. I guess I'll care when I haven't paid attention at all. Yeah. I'll say this, that Eldora has every possibility, though, to make an invert like that work where Knoxville doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
especially in Knoxville, man. I mean, they take all night to get that track wide enough to pass that the invert just doesn't work there. But Eldora could work.
It can. I guess. Listen, we're all going to know, and afterwards, if it worked or not. For some, or not for others, we'll see. I haven't
Now, if
looked
they
at
get rain and
What's
it's
that?
locked down, now if Eldora
Right.
gets rain and they're pushing it, trying to get in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's locked down, then then maybe the invert's not the best idea.
The
But
format can be the perfect thing on paper, but
Yeah.
it's what happens on the track.
Yeah.
So
You still have almost 80 cars there, so it's still going to be a lot of laps on the track, no matter what. So
Michael Millarden ended up on the pole of the heat.
wouldn't that be something? What if he
Yeah.
makes the show?
That's,
That'd be
that's what the
huge.
invert's there for. That's why you see guys like that up there. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I guess from there going to the Kings Royal, is there really? I mean, I would say there's not much difference between your favorites. The million that wouldn't be Kings Royal, same race, maybe less money and more prestige. The same guys could be at the front of it. And
Yeah.
like you said, I said not going to sweep, but there's a chance of it. I guess you're going to have the same guys, but I think same guys.
Yeah. Alex Robinson said he wants a fender segment. You ever heard the saying, if you shit in one hand and wish in the other? You ever heard that saying? That old saying? Moving on. Yeah, I don't think it changes anything for the Kings Royal. I don't.
I do.
It's a
I
4 day
guess the
thing.
question-
4 days on the same track. Like nothing changes. It's not like they're going one place in May and the other one in September.
Right. I guess the
Yeah.
better question is who hasn't won the Kings Royal that winning it would be maybe their biggest win of their career or whatever.
Oh, the list is long. I mean, has Gravel won?
I don't
Gravel's
think so.
won. I'm
When?
pretty sure Gravel has.
So
Maybe
Logan,
not.
Sheldon,
Sheldon.
Cito,
Yeah, Macedo.
right? Like I'm just thinking of that. James McFadden.
I guess he's somebody we're not really. Something with Roth though. I just don't. That's what I'm saying with Buddy too. Like
I'm just saying, like those races have been dominated for so long by Donnie,
shots and sweet.
right? And you've had those other ones in there, but anyone who wins it, who hasn't, it's the biggest win of their career. To that point, it just is. So it's the Kings Royal. Simple as that. Like
it is pretty cool that I mean, maybe it's like foreshadowing or something.
Yeah,
they're going to be like Lincoln and they're going to hand wins out to people. But Bobby Allen is the whatever the hell they call
right?
the honorary.
He's the Grand
Meister or something.
That's
so
not
it's
it.
interesting.
That's
So
racist.
to your point, since 2016 it was shots and sweet, and then Courtney, Larson, Marks. We've had 4 different winners in the last 4 events, but
Has Gravel won it?
no.
No,
Because shots when Gravel was coming on and having the speed, shots won 3 in a row. Shane Stewart, Kerry Madsen, Brad Sweet won it in 2013. Old Tyler Walker, 2011. How about that guy? It's crazy.
White Ford outside.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it just shows you more of like we talked before. We talked with Sheldon, but these outlaw guys, the younger crop, is kind of taking shots. Is kind of going to the twilight of his career a little bit. Not putting him out the pasture yet, but he's getting there.
We say that and watch him win one of these.
Oh, he absolutely could.
It wouldn't shock me at all. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
But we're getting to that point where he's kind of going. He's going the way of like, Father Time never loses. But it's Gravel is got that speed right now. Sweet's still there.
Yeah, Darren Pittman is running for Alex Bowman. That's a good point. It's a good car. Pittman still can. I'm not saying he's going to win, but
who's running Swindell car? Schoenberg?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at Eldora.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Those
guys have a perfect weekend, perfect night, right? Like your Pittman, your Schoenbergs.
With these big race formats, because I'm automatically thinking back to Knoxville Nationals, because you get those nights where a weird guy will start up on the pole. I mean, Sammy Swindell at like 70 years old or whatever just started on the pole of the Knoxville Nationals a couple years ago because of the way it worked out. I would not be surprised if a Darren Pittman started like 3rd because of the way it all shook out.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. You never know. I mean, that's the fun of it with that many good cars. You just don't know. They could quietly have that really good time trial draw, and then they something happens in the heat, right? They got inverted pretty far back, and a couple cars get together in front of them. Now they're transferred in, and they have a good pre-limit. Like it all can go right for cars like guys like that. They're talented people.
Yep.
I think that like, your Pittmans and your Shane Stewart, he's driving which car?
Yeah,
Indy race.
he won like the first night out,
Right.
2023.
So like, I think for those guys who haven't been racing a ton but have had success, it's got to go right. Like things have to go right. Rico and Brent and Gravel, they're going to go dominate, and we expect it, right?
I think the way the prelude could go, those guys can get themselves up there in the conversation, I guess. Like, look at this guy starting up there. But I don't know how long the million is. I'm assuming it's 40 laps. I would imagine for something that big, it would be 35, 40 laps. But, the cream usually rises to the top. As long as they're starting within the first dozen, they probably have a shot of working their way up. And if the Gravels, the Sweets, the Brents, those guys.
What I want to know is Tony Stewart going to be there?
I would imagine so. He's not going to give away $1 million and not show his face.
Well, maybe he's off drag racing.
50 laps.
50 laps. Open red.
He's gonna have to. You can't go 50 laps.
Yeah, I don't think you can go 50 laps. Honestly.
I don't know.
It's not Knoxville.
Trevor Orr said, and this is kind of a good point. I'm bummed the million is overshadowing the Kings Royal, kind of like the historical big one last year did. Money talks.
I think it's getting. I don't know, man. I think it's getting hyped on because it's $1 million. But I think once it's over,
yes,
it's Kings Royal.
Once we get to Friday, it's like, all right, now the prestige is here.
Yeah.
Now,
like to me, it was cool for Brent to win the big one last year. That was freaking cool. But I know deep down inside that big one mattered. But I know deep down inside he wants a Kings Royal.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Even if you won that historical one, you're going to leave the weekend and you're going to feel good about yourself.
Right.
But you want that Kings Royal, right?
The million's a really good consolation prize. And by really good, I mean pretty great.
Yeah, the million's getting the hype, and it needs to get the hype because they got to fill the stands, and you got to get the people to watch, and you got to get, the sponsor. You got to have the hype. It's a sprint car for $1 million, but it's still the Kings Royal. When that million's over, they're going to set their sights on wanting to get the Kings Royal.
Oh yeah, Tony SRX starts on Thursday, so he's not even going to be there.
That's a hell of a time for him to go do that.
What I'm saying. Crazy.
There you go.
I heard he's buying Williams Grove that day. He's signing the papers. I heard.
Probably. At least he's
Matt right here.
I heard he's helped constructing the bridge. So.
Looking forward to watching the Eldora Million Kings Royal. I just wish either Flo or Dirt Version would do the complete package. For those of you who don't know, Eldora Million's going to be on Flo because it's not a sanctioned event by the World of Outlaws, but the Kings Royal will be on Dirt Vision. What you can do, and what we're planning on doing probably, is doing a live stream where we're not going to show the race, but we'll be reacting to it, at least to probably the million. We'll see about the Kings Royal. We'll see where we're at, but that's probably so. If you want, come in, hang out in the chat with us as we watch the million go down.
Speaking of which,
we'll be just watch for our live stream up.
What racetracks are we going to this week?
This week locally,
I think I'm going to Lincoln.
You're going to Lincoln on Saturday?
I would love to go to Clinton County on Friday.
I think I'm going.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's too far for me on a Friday night.
Clinton County's like 40 minutes for me, so I'll probably go there on Friday. Check that out. I've been wanting to get there. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, and see some 410 sprint cars there.
Yeah, if it was on a Saturday night, I'd probably make that home.
Definitely gonna go for the Peter Murphy Classic in August. I will.
That's like the night of the Knoxville Nationals, I think.
I do not care. I will be making an effort to be there that night for sure. I didn't realize there was a race this Friday. I was fully ready to go to Williams Grove, and it's not happening there. So definitely Lincoln.
Definitely Lincoln. Nice, dude.
I'm locking it in. We're going to be in Lincoln.
Yeah, I should be at Lincoln this weekend. Monday, Friday, Saturday.
They sold me at double sprint cars. And
how many cars do you think they actually get
at Lincoln?
Yeah.
Well, the only cars you're not going to have is Danny. Macri hadn't been there much anyway. Whittle doesn't race there. Millard hasn't been there.
Yeah, it's mostly Port Royal cars that are going, actually.
Which makes sense.
27 cars at Lincoln. Maybe a few more that wouldn't come out otherwise. I don't know.
I don't
But
care. There's 14 cars there. I'll be there.
No deets.
No
No
deets.
2D.
why? Not going
King's
to
Royal.
Eldora. Is he going? Is he going out?
I mean, there's people that maybe don't race, but will go out there for it. So I mean,
Strickler won't be at Lincoln because he's going to be at Eldora.
Givler won't be there. I mean, Dakota then. They're going to be out in
Mercer.
Mercer?
Where they going Saturday? Yeah, where's Mercer at?
out
that's
west. I think.
out. Yeah.
This is their Western tour to go. West
Man,
on the
I think
East.
Mad actually asked in the chat earlier. Have you guys been to Knox? Did you guys go there?
No, AJ Flick talked a lot about it. Here's Brett Perigo talks a lot about it. Dusty.
Is that where Givler won last year?
No, he won Latrobe.
Latrobe. Another random ass
Knox,
track I've been to.
right. Yeah, Dietz is done to Outlaws at the Grove. So, yeah, Stutz will be at Eldora, but that's
Yeah, Stutz doesn't run Lincoln, so good talk. We're talking about Lincoln.
Yeah, Knox. It's out. I think they run Sunday nights. Or was that Tri City? Because AJ Flick runs a lot there when they do have 410s. It's out west. I think it's smaller Dust Bowl from what Brett says, but they're trying. Weekly race for the Western guys. So
it keeps popping on my radar every year, and I'm like, Like I think about it, timing's never been quite right.
Yeah, that's where Perigo made his 410 debut at.
Yep.
In the wingless car. That's right. Yeah. That's what we connect to that.
So
yeah, big.
Yeah, I should be at Lincoln Saturday, maybe nothing Friday. Sounds like I'll watch some Eldora or watch all the other whatever's going on. But if 358s are at Lincoln and 410s, I'll probably go to Lincoln.
Yeah, that was my deciding factor for sure. So
yeah. I'm planning on
at the track
Friday. And then
thought about Wednesday night really going up to Kutztown. I really debated it, but I'm probably not.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll probably be live streaming one, if not two races throughout the Eldora week.
Hang out, watch some races.
Then hang out and watch us watch it. Or watch it with us. We just won't be watching it on the same screen because we can't do.
We don't want to get canceled by Dirt Vision. Dirt Vision is savages. Flow might be okay with it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Dirt Vision, no. They
But,
hunt down Twitter. They hunt down Twitter accounts for not sharing their likeness.
No, they won't get to 100 entries. They'll be lucky if all 83 actually show up, to be honest. Chris asking 83 entries so far. Do you think they'll get to 100? I don't think they'll get more than what's already pre-entered. That's just my opinion.
I don't know why you would not pre-enter and then show up.
And I could see cars pre-entering and not showing up, potentially.
Somebody breaks down on the way there,
Yeah, something like that.
We are spoiled.
Yeah, we kind of are a little spoiled.
We're not even. That's why we complain so much on social media about everything.
Yeah, I'm ready to take a break. I need a weekend off.
Damn. Mercer. If Gimlet ever going to Mercer, they're damn near going to Ohio. Yeah. It's 4 hours and 6 minutes. What the hell? That's disgusting. It's almost in Youngstown, Ohio. It's gross.
So
I'd skip that and just go right to
Rockford.
Rockford.
This weekend. Right. I will be planning on watch weather and stuff. Got Hyper 600 Speed Week starting and Greenwood Valley's next Monday. I'll probably go to that. That's only like 12 minutes down the road from me, so I'll probably go check that out. They'll have a lot of entries. I think later that week, Kyle Busch and Brexton Busch are going to be there. I think you'll see Sheldon Creed's going to be there. A lot of good micro guys. Probably about, I think last year they got like 90 some cars. They'll probably have some more. They'll probably have over 100 cars every night.
Greenwood Valley?
All week for Hyper Speed Week's nuts. I mean, they get 80 to 100 cars every night, and I don't see this year being any different. They have a shit ton of entries. They're coming from all over, so it'd be pretty cool to go check out. Huh?
Isn't USAC 360s running Wednesday at Kutztown with Hyper Speed Week? I'm pretty sure USAC East Coast is on Wednesday, isn't it?
Next Wednesday.
Oh, it's the next week.
It's next Monday starts that Speed Week, and then it runs throughout. There is something running with them that Wednesday, though, because Kyle Busch is going to be there at Kutztown on that Wednesday. I think his son is running like slingshots, or I don't even know. But George said there's 90 at Greenwood Valley, and I remember that because it rained and they were there till like 2:00 in the morning on a Monday night.
Jesus.
I'm hoping that if it looks like that, I don't think I'm going to go because I do got to work the next day. But I would really like to get there. I've been wanting to get to that track, and those micros are awesome. So that'll be what I'm doing. I'm going to Pocono that week. Maybe I'll squeeze in BAPS depending on how work is going. Pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
73 cars are entered to run for points. That's pretty cool. That's a lot.
And
of
then
cars.
you'll have some that just show up certain nights. So it's cool. I think it's becoming a really big event here. It's one of the bigger events here in Pennsylvania now at this point, and get to some of these smaller tracks that really are where all these guys start. I mean, so many guys that we have talked to on here that got their start at Wanko or Linda's or
tons of them.
You know what I mean?
Are that came up through and doing that stuff. Absolutely.
But this is really where you start catching those names early, and then you got some of these other big hitters that come in and, because there's a good points fund and good money up for grabs, to get, if you could get a good micro ride, you could go, have some fun for a week. So I know Christopher Bell ran it last year. He probably won't this year, but he ran it last year. Larson ran one.
Yeah, like those micros amaze me. When we were at Grandview or Kutztown a couple weeks ago when USAC was there, and they had micros, and there were micros I saw the week before in North Carolina. We're up here running in freaking Kutztown the next week. Like, North Carolina, Kutztown. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is wild, bro. Like, we think it's like Pennsylvania. We just in this little circle, and they're like these micro teams are up and down the East Coast in a week. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, so we got Greenwood Valley for you. I will not be at BAPS. I will be Summer Nationals that week.
BAPS.
You go to Pocono.
Pocono, baby. So yeah, I might not be. I definitely, we'll see about the show, but if you guys have one Monday, I won't be here, and then the Monday after, granted it doesn't rain, I'll be here the following Monday.
Wait, this next.
But if it rains and they run the race on Monday, I won't be here that week either. So unfortunately,
we'll figure it out.
We'll make it work.
We'll figure it out. I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll figure it out.
We'll make it. But yeah, what else? Is that it?
That's it. We're done.
We're done.
Lincoln.
I
Stay on the
didn't
socials. Stay on the socials. I'll be doing my best at Lincoln.
Yep. Service has been good there the last few weeks. I don't know. It's weird. I couldn't all of a sudden at Port I could get no service the last 2 weeks, and at Lincoln I can. So I don't know what's going on.
We'll be there. I'm gonna try to get there right after the gates open. So I'd be
Saturday.
Call our at Williams Grove for the Summer Nationals. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'll see you. I'll see you, Lincoln, buddy. Jimmy, thank you. Everybody, thanks for the comments.
Yeah, thanks.
Had a ton tonight. Appreciate all that. Appreciate you all coming without us having a normal schedule. Love you guys, man. Share the show. Tell somebody. Tell a friend. Have us join in and
come watch us. Come watch us watch race cars this week.
Yeah,
watch
race cars. We're all fans together, my people.
Let's all hope Jordan Givler wins all 3 races this weekend, so I'm out of the house.
You just better hope that they don't blow a motor now that you
don't even say
them.
it. I didn't jinx them.
I think Dakota's going to end up blowing a tranny.
Probably.